This is Jablam Hockey with your hosts, Peter Wojcicki and Paul Swinbeck. Welcome to Jablam Hockey, folks. I'm your host, Peter Wojcicki. You can find me on Twitter, at Russian98. And I'm with
Paul Zwambag. You can find me at Zwambag, Z-W-A-M-B-A-G. How's it going, everybody? Peter, what's up?
Oh, you know, the usual. Fixing my car. Woo.
Yeah, you had four things.
Yeah. I don't know
ones.
what was going on. You know what? Seriously, I was contemplating actually buying. I was this close to buying a brand new car.
Jeez.
Really weird, cool things happened. One thing, which was really weird and cool, I'll just quickly go into it. My buddy, I have a good buddy, and I sent him a picture that I got. I got a friend who tried to add me on Facebook, you know, just random people, right? And it said Bruce Wayne. I was like, Bruce Wayne? Who's this? So anyways, long story short, I wasn't sure who this guy was, but I got one of his pictures from his Facebook. I sent it to my buddy. I'm like, oh, is it that guy we went on vacation with when it was your brother's bachelor party? And he said, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. I thought maybe it was Brampton Batman. I actually thought it was maybe Brampton Batman was adding me on Facebook. So it was him.
Or the real Batman.
Or the real Batman, yeah. Well, I live in Brampton, and we have a Brampton Batman. If you haven't checked it out, folks, go on the internet. Check out Brampton Batman. This guy's cool. He's got his own Batmobile. He dresses up like Batman on weekends. He tries to, help pedestrians cross the street and that kind of stuff. And anyways, he's cool. So I thought it might have been him. But no, it was another buddy from high school. And I never met this guy. But apparently, when I met him on the bachelor party that we went to 5-6 years ago in New Orleans, great city, he told me that he was best friends with all these other guys I knew in high school. I was like, what? I'm like, I know these guys. I'd never seen you, though, in my life. So it was pretty cool. So he had me on Facebook. Anyways, but the guy standing next to him was my buddy, Ray Brown, cool dude. Haven't seen him since I was 18 years old. And, you know, I'm old now. I'm almost 20 years removed. So, 20? Yeah, almost, eh? Anyways, so I sent my buddy a picture. I'm like, oh, yeah, and there's Ray, whatever. I'm going to get my car fixed. I went to Toyota and everything. While I'm doing that, I hate when you call and you reserve an appointment, then you find out you're going to be sitting there for 4 hours. I'm like, okay, whatever. So then I went to every single car dealership in that area in Brampton. We have a huge car dealership, and they're all there. And walking, and I really like the Rogue, the Nissan Rogue. I was almost contemplating buying it. It's really cool. I love the commercials when they're smashing through the snowman. Anyway, so then I went by even Honda, and there's Ray standing there getting his car fixed at freaking Honda. What are the chances? He has a huge smile on his face. I see him. He's like, Peter. I'm like, Ray. And then we hugged each other. And I was like, yeah, how's it going? He's got 3 kids. He's goes to church every weekend. You know, and we had a quick conversation. I'm like, oh, wicked cool, man. And that was it. It was just really crazy. Anyways, so then, yeah, I got my car fixed. Brand new windshield. Brand new tires, new headlight. My goodness.
You finally got your windshield fixed.
Yes, I finally, because it spread even worse.
That's 25 episodes ago at least when you talked about your windshield breaking.
No, last year it cracked as well. I had to get a brand new windshield then.
Oh, this is another one.
Yes, a brand new one I got a brand new one last year, and I had to get a brand new one this year too.
Wow.
So, and it's so expensive because my car is the Toyota FJ Cruiser. I think because my windshield is so wide and flat, that it's easier to crack. It's more acceptable getting the cracks. And once you get even a small nick, boom, spread within a week. And I was so busy working, I didn't even 4 or 5 days. I didn't even notice the little crack, and it spread pretty bad. And then it got even worse, a week ago. And the other problem was I was so busy I couldn't get it fixed. So I was up and down driving my mom's old Celica. But I'm so happy I got it fixed. I'm ready for a road trip. Thinking about maybe going to Phoenix, in April. I always take my hockey road trips, and I'm thinking about maybe there. But I have to go again to Boston to see my buddy Joey. So got to plan a lot of trips before I even think about buying a new car. So,
jeez.
And yeah. So how's your week been, Paul?
Well, it's been pretty good. I'm getting pretty excited for Super Bowl. Falcons are in it, and I'm a Falcons fan, so
Nice.
Yeah, I'm going to be sitting on my couch by myself because I do not like distraction and people watching
You
games.
don't like...
No, I don't like people. I got invited out to a restaurant, and they were like, "Oh, it's a wicked atmosphere," and they have like music playing, and they hand out prizes. I was like, I don't want to listen to music. I want to watch the game.
What is wrong with these people and this whole music thing? No, I want to hear the audio, the play-by-play. I want to see the game.
Yeah, so I'm going to be sitting on my couch watching in front of my big screen TV and have my own little taco dip, and that's that.
Nice. So I saw you hung up your Matt Ryan jersey next to... What do you have? You have like Sid, and you have some like other superstars. I don't know if you can put him in contention with those guys, though.
Whoa, he could be MVP this year. So
all right, we'll see.
Yeah, and he could be a Super Bowl champion by the end of the weekend. So
yes. So good luck to your Falcons, then, Paul.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to this episode. But first, Paul, how did we do on our All-Star Weekend picks?
I'm ready for you this time. You went 3-1, and I went 2-2. We basically picked the exact same things, except for the skills competition. We both went with our own divisions. So you won the skills competition. We both won the Metro going to the finals, and we both won the Metro winning. We lost Central against Pacific.
How much do you think them winning had to do with maybe Gretzky helping them as a coach?
Yeah, maybe.
You think?
I think it was more Paul Coffey. I'd like to give it Paul Coffey.
All right, cool.
Gretzky put Sid and Ovechkin together, and I wasn't a big fan of that. As soon as I saw Sid and Ovechkin playing together, I was just like, oh, man. I was really excited about Crosby finally being at an All-Star game. It's been since 2008 or something like that. Seven. And I was very disappointed. But he definitely lit the lamp in the skills competition. He was pretty good.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that in my top 10 All-Star moments of this past weekend. And what else do we have this episode? We are team ISOing the Tampa Bay Lightning with special guest Acha from Raw Charge, of course, of SB Nation. And then Paul has a fantasy tip for us, and then we'll finish up with our Saturday's picks.
Nice. Let's get into it.
All right. Trending now. Hitchcock is fired.
Gone.
So I think they lost 5 of 6. And they let him go. It's peculiar. Aren't they still in a divisional playoff spot?
I believe so, yeah.
So why now? Like we all knew when they brought in Mike Yeo as the backup assistant coach, he would be the coach next year at the end of Hitchcock's deal. So why not just wait till then?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's odd. We are putting everything on our games notes as per usual, and this is an article we're going to be putting on there from Yahoo, which also talks about he got a raw deal. He did. Like, Jake Allen has not been good at all.
No, he hasn't.
And that's hurting them the most. A lot of guys aren't playing that well, but on top of that, you need at least above average goaltending to be a good team, and where they are in the standings is still pretty good for below average or bad goaltending.
Yeah, and even in the press conference, Doug Armstrong was pretty emotional about it.
I think he was almost crying.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I love Hitch, and you know me. I like the Blues. I like their two-way play. Very rare for them to have a guy like what's his name again? Tarasenko, in terms of a powerhouse offensive scorer. So they've always had to play this two-way game system, and they played it so well, but they haven't taken it maybe to the next level. But I don't know. I don't know what their transition is now in terms of what they're going to do, if they're going to move forward, or maybe they may be in a bit of a transition in terms of where they're going, right?
Yeah.
So,
do you think Hitchcock finds another coaching job, or do you think he's retiring?
I hope he just signs a short deal with Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas. Yeah.
I think him and Vegas kind of fit with having a good, hard-nosed, old-school coach start them off right for the first 2 to 4 years, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that would be a great fit.
He's one away from top 3 winningest coaches. One win away.
Yeah.
If he retires, that's so disappointing. He's one behind Al Arbor in 150 less games. Crazy.
Yeah, I like Tidge, and I really do hope too that he goes to Vegas because I think it'll be perfect. But you know what bothered me a lot? The Leafs. They're not playing well right now, and then they walk into the Scott Trade Center to play the first game with what? Who's the coach now?
Mike Yeo.
Mike Yeo, that I already said, yes, of course. So the players are going to play their hardest in front of their new coach. That always happens. And, of course, what do I get? I get a text from my buddy, Jason Wu, telling me the first thing is $10 bet who's winning tonight. Oh, my God. Does he take me for a fool? Like, my Leafs are playing his now new Blues because he likes Yakupov and he went to the Blues. So now he's cheering for the Blues. And I'm like, no, the Leafs are probably going to lose tonight. I know that. They're going to play hard in front of their coach, and that's exactly what they did. And I'm like, and I actually said, do you take me for an idiot? And he goes, LOL, you're a Leafs fan. See, these are the chirps.
Yeah,
these are the chirps that Leafs fans get all the time. That's
awesome.
Yeah. Oh, my God. I'm going to kill you, Jason. So, like, it is what it is. Again, the Blues played well last night. But I don't know. I don't know what the direction the team is going to move in now. Shattenkirk is pretty much gone. And maybe some of these other guys, too. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens with them. But if their goaltending doesn't fix as well, Jake Allen keeps on playing poorly, this might be a bad stretch of a year or 2 or 3 for the Blues. I feel it coming, right?
You got to see them targeting a goalie. Like, if Jake Allen isn't doing it right now, then go get a Fleury, go get a Bishop, and if they carry you to a deep playoff run, then sign them to a contract. If not, then no, it doesn't really hurt that badly, right? You lose something out of it, and maybe it'll make Jake Allen's game even better, having a tougher competition than Carter Hutton. So,
yeah,
maybe they do go target Fleury.
Hopefully. Yeah, maybe. All right. Andrew Shaw is among one of the new You Can Play ambassadors. I think it's a lot of for the teams, right? So he's the one for Montreal, TVR and JVR, vice versa for the Hawks and the Leafs. But Andrew Shaw? Isn't that kind of odd? I don't know. Don't you find that odd?
Maybe he's trying to clean up his image. Maybe he's trying to give back because he has made mistakes in the past.
Yeah, so he's going to be representing the LGBTQT? I don't know. I want to know what happened. Did he come out and tell, like, the organization? Did they come out and ask the players in general, hey, does anybody want to be the ambassador for You Can Play, and so on and so forth? And did he come out and like, yes, pick me? Or what happened there? Or maybe they came to him. I don't know. I would just like to know how that situation happened. But they did ask him, and he said, what I went through last year, I learned from it. Words affect people more than you can think. What I learned last year, it's a good position to be in. I can take what I learned from my experiences and help others learn the value of words.
So there you go. Maybe he's turning around his image.
Yeah, so I hope he does. But the way he plays on the ice, though, and your emotions get heated, sometimes you can't control with what you say, I think. So I hope he doesn't say something bad again on the ice or somewhere. But this is a good positive move and forward for him. And, of course, for You Can Play. That'd be pretty cool, seeing people change as well. Their image.
He's kind of in the doghouse with Montreal right now anyways. So
yeah,
Michel Therrien is not a big fan of him. He took some pretty stupid interference penalties against Philly Wednesday night. And he rode the bench the rest of the game. He did not get another single shift. So yeah, I think they're taking the pluses with the minuses. I think there's more minuses right now with Andrew Shaw signing or trade.
Yeah, it was a big
Montreal,
signing.
but
We'll
that's the kind of player they thought they were getting. So that's what they get.
He is doing. He's still putting up pucks in the back of the net, and he's being gritty, and that's how he is. So
Yep.
All right. Moving on. Monahan is on fire. Paul, this pisses me off. I dropped him right before he went and scored 3 goals in 3 games.
Not a good move.
Yeah. So how well is he playing lately now?
9 goals in the last 10 games.
Wow.
Yeah, he's killing it right now. I'm pretty sure we're recording this on Thursday night or Friday night, and he's got a goal. So
wow, he is killing it.
Yeah, you missed out on that one, Peter.
Well, I think I'm still doing pretty good though. I'm still first place in one of them, and I'm in the middle in my other one. So yeah. All right, time for this week's segment of Team ISO. This week we are Team ISOing the Tampa Bay Lightning. Again, it's where we talk about one specific team. You had our opinion, Paul and mine's, last year. This year we're going out to the people who know more about their team. And this week's Team ISO guest is Acharya. You can follow her at Tanya
Rezek.
Yep. Well, yeah, there you go. How you spell it is TanyarezAK. And she's currently the managing editor at Raw Charge and also an editor at Pension Plan Puppets, and both, of course, of SB Nation. We're going to tweet it all for you at Sublime Hockey. And, of course, we're here to talk about Bolts hockey. Welcome to the show, Acha.
You know, it's funny that you should say that because it would be more fun for me right now to talk about how the Solar Bears are doing, which I cover for Pension Plan Puppets, than the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah.
Because the Tampa Bay Lightning are doing so badly.
Yes.
I mean, it hurts my heart to talk about the team this season. And it's the first season that I'm managing editor over at Raw Charge. And, of course, they had to go for the tank.
So you're saying it's your fault?
Correlation is not causation, guys.
Okay.
Except in hockey sometimes, because obviously when you wear the right hat, the team wins, and but we won't go into that.
Hey, you know what? I actually think this might be a good sign of things, because what I wanted to get into was with the whole salary cap management. Yzerman.
Okay. Yep.
Right? He made amazing moves. I don't know how he did it by keeping Stamkos, keeping Kucherov. How do you sign Kucherov for under $5 million? That's amazing.
Okay. Let me explain exactly what he did.
Okay.
He made an offer.
Yeah.
Kucherov said no. And then months later, he made the same offer, and Kucherov said yes. That is exactly how it went down.
Wow.
And he did exactly the same thing to Stamkos. He made an offer, and that was it. That was the offer.
Wow.
I think the only negotiation was how much of it was paid up front. And, I believe it tapers off toward the end of his contract. However, that was just the nuts and bolts. I mean, the way Yzerman works is he stares at the player and says, "This is what I'm offering you," writes it down, hands it over. That's it.
Amazing. I don't know how their agents aren't trying to work and get a better deal. Or
have you not seen the tweets from Alan Walsh?
A little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, no, the way that the agents there are a couple of things that happened that were kind of underhanded. There's the whole Stamkos tweet gate where he his fingers kept slipping on the tweets, and at very strategic points in the negotiation, he would like a tweet, and then suddenly, Toronto media would blow up like, a bomb had gone off, and
they got to blow up about
"Oops,
everything.
My bad."
So,
That's very true. And then he'd unfavorite it and say, it was just a pocket like or something. I found that was one of the smartest things that Stamkos did, because he had deniability, but at the same time, he managed to try to hasten up the process.
Yeah.
And kind of the opposite with Alan Walsh and Drouin. Alan Walsh wanted to hasten some kind of trade for Drouin last season. So he started taking to Twitter and just mouthing off. And obviously that was met with Yzerman saying, okay, well, I guess I'll look around for a guy exactly like Drowan, and if I find that guy, I will trade.
Yeah.
And of course, he didn't because Drowan was kind of sitting in disgrace up in Montreal.
Hmm.
Um, Sitting out, that was a really weird month. But
Yeah.
at the end of the month, Duran said, okay, my bad, I will come back. He went back to the Syracuse Crunch, played a couple games, and then got recalled. So,
And the rest is history in terms of how he's playing now.
yeah, however, I don't know, there are good and bad things to take from the Detroit model of overcooking people in the AHL and in their junior teams. I'm sure you've heard about this from the Red Wings people.
Yeah, but it's hard to overcook, in my opinion. It's very rarely that you've seen a player that happen to where he just struggles because he's been there down too long. Whereas it's been common ground where they do struggle pretty easily and quickly and just deflate. And we've seen that, of course, easily just by looking at many Oilers. So, yeah, it's a different flip of the coin. So we'll see. But again, with the cap, it's amazing that he did that. And then now he has 3 more big pieces coming this year. And that's what I'm saying. Maybe it's a good thing that they're not playing so well, so he doesn't have to give a large salary to guys like coming this summer with Drouin and who else do they have coming up? Johnson, Palat.
Johnson and Palat.
Yeah. So maybe it's a good thing.
Those guys.
Yeah.
I think it's generally acknowledged at my website anyway, Rotcharge, that out of the RFAs coming due, Johnson is probably the one who's going to be dealt. I mean, he's probably a piece. Yzerman has to get rid of a couple of contracts. Got Garrison, who's been really underperforming this season. And Filppula, who actually has been having a pretty solid season, but Filppula comes with a hefty price tag, and he's got to be moved in order to fit in these other guys. You're not going to say no to Jonathan Drouin. So has to be one of the older guys that moves. And I think Johnson thrown in to sweeten the deal.
Yeah.
We also have Brian Boyle around. He's got to be re-signed. I think so. He's been great. He's been a solid bottom 6 player. Was pondering that he'd really help the Leafs if they're looking to actually make a push. He's got a great defensive side and actually can provide tertiary scoring. So it's like, win-win if someone were to
add him,
pick him up. Yeah.
For the playoffs or something. That would be a good move.
Yeah.
So is Johnson just having a bad year, or has this been a long time coming in? He was just being helped along by Palat and Kuch.
Have you seen many Lightning games at all?
I've seen a few games, but I do also hear on Twitter too. A lot of fans aren't happy with him at all.
Yeah. So you might notice that for the play, he skates forward. New guy, Braden Point, dives behind the net into the scrum and springs the puck, but Johnson hangs back. And it's got to be because his body hurts. This team has been through 2 incredibly deep playoff runs in the past 2 years. There are some players, like Anton Strawman, who have played 87 playoff games since 2011. So
with the Rangers,
that guy... Yeah, exactly. That guy is worn out. Like, he finally, I think this last playoff round, he only played 6 games. And we really hurt because of it. Like, we really suffered. I'm shocked we got as far as the Eastern Conference Final. But, so, Strawman, his body actually began giving out this year, too. It's just, how do you push these guys for so long, for so hard, and not expect them to start falling apart? Johnson, in the 2015 playoff run, broke his hand, had only 2 months to heal it up, swore up and down that it was fine. It was not fine. He did not very well that season. And I do believe that with the long playoff run that happened again, the injury has just persisted. He doesn't have the same touch with the puck, and I don't know how he's doing, honestly.
Hmm.
I mean, he's got good instincts. He's got great hockey intelligence.
Yeah.
But he looks like he's cringing away from the play.
So it could be just a really bad injury, and he needs more time to recover.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
actually the huge upside of not making the playoffs this year, which
Yep.
we're likely not going to make the playoffs.
Okay. Yeah.
The huge upside is all of these months for people like Stamkos to rest up. Like,
Yeah.
that guy, more than any guy on the team, needs to just sit down at the beach and like drink some margaritas. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Let's move on. Why do you think Nesterov was expendable? Like, isn't he a solid
Because
5'6"
of
guy?
because of Luke Witkowski. So Yzerman actually came out I think he spoke to Joe Smith of the Tampa Bay Times and said outright, or maybe it was Eric Erlandson of Lightning Insider. He essentially said, I needed to, Nesterov, he was on a 1-year contract and it was up this summer. Nesterov was likely going to walk. Yzerman, and during the season, he would have had to either send Nesterov down through waivers or Witkowski. And he didn't want to lose Witkowski, so he decided to make something out of the deal, and that's why he flipped Nesterov to Montreal. I think it was for an AHL guy, Racine, and a 6th-round pick. Yeah. So that's something out of nothing, which Yzerman does. And initially, everybody was like, why? That guy is actually great. And in fact, one of my writers wrote a big, this means bad things sort of article. But I think that actually it was wise. It was, making something, giving a bean to the giant and getting back a harp or something,
Yeah, pulling a bit of a Chicago Blackhawks move with the salary cap crunch, and then you got to move him to get something, right? Okay. Yeah. Victor Hedman. Why is he playing so well offensively this year?
Just this year? I mean,
well, you know what I'm saying.
Right
now, he's like a number 2, right? He's never been like a top 5, 10, maybe offensively defenseman.
He's growing up. I mean, I guess we've seen him be the solid guy, driving possession, always able to keep the puck in, and always shooting. I mean, it's been on his mind. We've seen him mature since he came here, and it's just I guess he's the focus now because people like Stamkos are not in the lineup to distract. Now, I think Kucherov and Hedman are having their time in the sun.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He's always lovely. He's one of the few good things about the team this season.
Yeah. So I guess also because he's more in the limelight and he knows he needs to produce a little bit more.
Thinking your question through, right?
Yeah.
Thinking your question through.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's sudden. I guess that's my answer. It's been slow and it's been a growing process.
Yeah. For sure.
But also he has to carry the team. He's one of the leaders, and he knows that if he's not scoring, who else will? Definitely not the decor.
Yeah. So. All right. And how is Braden Point coming along so far?
Nice. He just returned from his hand injury and scored twice. So he is a beautiful flower growing in the fields of Tampa right now. We were all shocked that he made the lineup right out of camp. Yeah. We expected him to go elsewhere for a bit and then return, but no, he stuck around with a lot of verve, and it's clear that he loves hockey and wants to be there, which is nice to watch.
Perfect. What line is he usually playing with?
Third line, Alex Killorn, center Tyler Johnson, and Point on the other side. So usually Johnson plays second line center. He's been obviously falling just simply because I guess the other night he made a really stupid error in 3-on-3 overtime and Cooper was not happy. So his lineup change has reflected that.
Okay. So he's getting some decent second or third line action, some power play. His minutes don't show too much of action, so I'm still surprised. He's still doing fairly well, so that's good. Paul, is there any other prospects?
What's Slater Cuckoo playing like this year?
Well, that's a delicate question. Tampa Bay Lightning fans love Slater Cuckoo. He's really perfect as a bottom pairing developing guy. But for some reason, John Cooper is not a big fan, and so he's been up and down quite a bit. And he's currently down in Syracuse. So taking his place is a guy named Dotchin, whom Leafs fans last heard about when he took Kasperi Kapanen's season and destroyed it. So this guy is now playing as Victor Hedman's D partner.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's trying to balance out inexperience with experience. It's a weird thing that Cooper does.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So Hedman, when the team is playing well, Hedman and Strawman are partners, and when they're not, you see them split.
Interesting. You guys had a lot of World Junior Championship players as well. Did you like anybody's tournament?
5.
Yeah, did you like anybody's tournament from the
I'll
Wolves?
tell you that I did not really like Ingram's tournament.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Canada. I apologize to you for Connor Ingram. I'm really glad you had Hart as the backup there, or I don't even know. I guess he became the starter.
Yeah.
Well, Adam Wilcox is actually in Syracuse doing a really good job up there. So I think we're okay as far as goaltending goes for a little while.
Yeah, and you had like four forwards in Canada as well. Radish, Cirelli, Joseph. Any of those guys stand out to you?
Actually, I was shocked by how well Taylor Radish did. He was wonderful. I mean, I don't think anyone expected him to make the lineup, and he just held on to it and made the most of his chance.
Yeah, he was one of the final guys cut. He's having a pretty good year in Erie as well.
Did you guys get to see the game?
Yes, we did. I guess.
Which podcast did you talk about it on the podcast? I'll go back and listen.
We probably talked about a fair bit about it during the first January episode, probably, right? Because that's when it finished, and we named a few good players as well on our website, jablamhockey.com. You could check out. Paul mentioned some good players from the tournament.
Cool.
But yeah, it was great to see. It was exciting. USA played really well, and you know what? Even if the games, some of them ended out for shootout, for the Americans, the games themselves were really good.
Yeah, it was episode 59.
Yeah.
Okay, episode 59. Cool.
Yeah.
I'll go listen. Yeah, that ending in a shootout was like the most anticlimactic possible ending of a World Junior Championship. And actually, my site, because we had so many prospects, we were all rooting for Canada. So
yeah.
It felt a little weird to root for Canada, but actually, I got into a fight with my Syracuse Crunch writer because he was like, "How can you root for Canada?" And I was like, "But our prospects it's like 5 of, it's like most of the team, but you know."
Yeah.
And how exciting
he stayed true to the USA.
How exciting is Anthony Cirelli playing in London?
Yeah,
he has a good chance of going to the Mem Cup, eh?
We're going to be following that, especially since we don't have any playoff games to write about, likely. So, yeah, we're going to be following the Crunch, hopefully into playoffs, and, awesome. Cirelli, too.
Yeah.
Cross fingers.
They've had a few good championship wins, so that's good. And they're playing well this year, are they?
Yeah.
That's not so much.
Oh, Syracuse Crunch, you mean?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. It's so the Crunch. Every minor team suffers from developing great players and having them stolen. So, Yzerman this season has decided that he wants to try out every single prospect down there for at least a game or two up in the NHL. So he's been rotating and basically destabilizing the Crunch every week. It's like, okay, now we're going to take this guy. Now we're going to take Taormina. Now we're going to take Dotchin, all of these guys coming up and playing with a big club. And I've got I'm thinking that this is because he wants to see what his pieces are for, some kind of, house cleaning this summer. I don't think that everyone keeps saying he's going to be a seller at the trade deadline, and that's not how Yzerman really works. He really takes his time. I think he's not going to do a damn thing until the summer, and this summer things are going to start happening.
All right, and then last but not least, well, two more things. When do you think is Stammer coming back, or as I like to call him, Steven Chaos? Is he going to come back?
Well, it's projected to be March, but at this point, I'd rather he not come back. If we've got a chance at a top 10 pick in the draft, I would like us to keep that chance. Then, we're not going to, there's no way he can help a playoff push at this point. I think we're 8 points behind that slot.
It's still tight, and there's so many.
It's still tight, but we just lost to two divisional rivals, in a row. Boston and then the Senators. So I'm not thinking we come back. Yeah.
All right. And then what do you do with the dilemma between the pipes?
We're not going to have Ben Bishop anymore. Ben Bishop is gone. We need some kind of reliable veteran backup for Vasilevsky. So if he's, I don't know where he's traded, but we're probably getting back some kind of goaltender for that.
So you think Yzerman might trade him then at the deadline, or you're thinking not for sure? Or would they just be expendable pieces?
Yeah, actually, Bishop is the one person that might get traded at the deadline, but there are a couple of considerations that a couple of things are making it difficult. First, Bishop wants over $7 million. I believe there are talks to the Blues about this, and they said no. Yep. And that's really where he would have wanted to go. Not sure, Dallas Stars always in the mix. I'm not sure how they're doing now.
Would you take Brian Elliott or Chad Johnson as a backup?
Elliott would be a good veteran.
Yeah. I don't know. One of the huge issues with Vasilevsky is that he's not gelling well with the kind of schedule being set for him this season. The offense is not making him look very good. So he doesn't show well to be the starter. So we need a guy who's quite reliable, that Vasilevsky can be behind and feel kind of relieved to leave the team in this other guy's hands when he's playing badly,
Or somebody that he can challenge with for the number one.
Right.
Yeah.
So it is a dilemma.
Yeah. So then maybe a trade with Dallas or Calgary would do well, because any of those goalies would want to battle for the number one spot. It might be a good thing for Vasilevsky.
That would be good. Yeah. He does. I think he does want to. I don't know. He really likes working with Ben Bishop, but Bolts absolutely cannot sign him.
Yeah, so. There's no way. So hopefully they get some good pieces for him. All right, Atcha, thank you for being on the show.
Actually, I do have a question for you guys.
Sure, go ahead.
Jablam hockey, where does that come from?
Jablam hockey. Well, again, it's one of the random words that I made up when I was really young. And the word actually comes from me watching Batman, and you see kapow and whammo, and I just thought of jablam. So that's kind of where it comes from, and then we just decided to use it as our moniker for the show. That's it.
What teams are you guys most interested in watching going into the postseason?
Well, our own teams. Hopefully the Maple Leafs make it there, and
don't you think that they might?
They might.
It's pretty exciting. Yeah.
Hopefully they do, and I hope they do well. On top of after that, because of course I'm used to awful seasons, I usually cheer for guys that I like, and of course I did like Paul's Penguins when I was a kid too, watching Lemieux and Yager, and even maybe the Oilers if they're playing well. And I watched the Oilers, back in the day with Gretzky and Messier growing up, so it'd be pretty cool to see the Oilers make the playoffs. And I was going to do Paul. Hopefully they can maybe
Yeah, that'd
How
be...
many
Top
Canadian
10
teams
all-star
do you
players
guys
of all
think
time.
will make the
Then
playoffs?
it's so hard to say
3?
who
That's
is better
all
than
color
the
all
other
about it.
in all-star
Yeah,
games.
so we do friendly bets on our
Very difficult.
podcast, and
Then,
a couple
with all
weeks
the
ago, we
crazy,
actually
weird,
made a
wacky
friendly
moments
bet
we
of
had in this
how many
All-Star weekend,
teams,
I said
Canadian
I
teams
have
we
to
thought would
go
make the playoffs,
with
and
the top
Peter
10
thinks
moments
4 or more,
of
and
the
I
All-Star
chose
weekend.
3 or less.
So that's what I did.
So
Because
that's where we stand.
let's go with a few of them.
Interesting.
All right. One of the ones that we
So
I'm gonna say is just an honorable
Montreal,
mention, which is great.
Flames?
They had a celebrity cool game.
No,
There was
And no,
great players
well,
out there. But
Ottawa,
the best part, of
Toronto,
course, is
and you never
Chris
know.
Pronger
You don't think the Sens are going to regress?
crunching Bieber.
I
in the
think they
boards.
might,
Do you see
but
that
I
one,
think
Paul?
that
But
I
they'll
did,
still
and I
make
saw
the
the
playoffs.
picture
Find a way to
afterwards.
make
The
the
Associate
playoffs.
Press
All right.
had a picture
Oh my
of
God.
the
So,
Pronger
Yeah.
with his face
That
all
would be fun.
happy.
I would
and
enjoy
Bieber
that.
all smushed.
Thanks for all the
Yeah,
insight,
it was good.
Astria. We
I'm
will tweet
impressed
out
that
your
Bieber
contact information
was a
on
half
Plan
decent
Hockey
hockey
Twitter
player.
account, as well as
yeah,
in our game
I've
notes.
seen him a few times because
All right, Peter, you
I know when the
wrote
Hawks.
a
Remember when the
excellent
Hawks won
top
and then
10
he stepped
article.
on their logo?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, he skated with them, and he looked pretty good out there,
Yeah.
especially
Good-
with the
good
size
old
of
Canadian
Kane.
boy.
Yeah, with the size of Kane too. Him and playing with Kane he didn't look that bad standing next to him. So yeah, but it was hilarious. Justin getting erased on the boards by Big Chris, hilarious. And another cool thing, and of course you probably liked it as well, in shooting accuracy. That's my third pick. Was for top moments. Matthews posted an amazing time of 12.8 seconds. I think it was 4 for 5 in shooting accuracy. He was amazing. Like everybody else was doing all right. They were like 4 for 6, 4 for 8, over 20 seconds. Then Matthews hits 12.8 seconds, 4 for 5.
Was it 4 for
And of
5
course-
or was it 4 for 6?
I think it was 4 for 5. I just relooked at it. Yeah, I know I wrote down in my blog that is also on my blogs, and it's my blog for this week on jablamhockey.com. Yeah, it's 4 for 5. I believe they were both 4 for 5 because then in comes Sid, all determined and serious, and he wings it easily. I think 4 for 5 in like 10 seconds.
Yeah. And
Insane.
just the way it went, McDavid went up and he hit 4 for 6.
He was pretty. Yeah.
And then Matthews was like, oh yeah, I can do that. McDavid versus Matthews. You guys had this in the World Cup and in last year's World Juniors, and boom, I'll beat you. And then Sid was like, settle down, boys. I got this. just happened to work out that way. It was pretty cool to see.
That was pretty cool. And my number one top moment was the top 100. This seriously isn't even a choice. It was so classy an event that they had before, talking about all the top 100s of NHL history. They all came out, the players that are still playing, and them shaking hands. And even cooler was the actual game. And before the game actually started on Sunday, the players that were playing in the game shook hands with the greats of the NHL. It's really classy and really cool.
Yeah, I really enjoyed a lot of the player interviews with in between games and highlights and stuff, that they were just like little kids. They were just like if you or I were out on that ice with those 100 guys. Like you could tell they were just big time fans of these alumni players and just were blown away. They were just so happy to be talking to these guys and sitting in the same room as them. And I'm pretty sure everybody talked about talking to Billy Smith. Was it Billy Smith or... There's one guy that everybody was like, oh, I talked to him forever. I talked to him all night. And it was like, well, not everybody could talk to him all night. Like, there's
Maybe
lot
talked
of
in a
guys
big
there.
group setting.
Yeah, exactly. What didn't you like about the All-Star? One mention one.
I'm just going to mention the main one. The long delays between events and in between the events. Like, what was going on there? It seemed like they kept on saying, oh, the clock's not working. The clock's not working. Was the clock just not working at all? I didn't get this. So again, if you check out my blog, I did top 5 good moments and top 5 bad moments. There's a few bad moments that I didn't like, and this was one of them. There's so many delays, and especially the new challenge, the 4-line challenge with the shooting, I thought was so awkward. They didn't say how it went well in terms of the announcing, the play-by-play, how they broke it down. The 2 shots were random. It wasn't sure. It wasn't like, this is his first shot, this is his second shot. And then it just kept on so many pauses in between all the shots. I had no clue what was really going on, except for the replays. It was pretty cool. Burnsy shot from halfway in the top corner. And then again, Smith, not a big fan of him with his attitude sometimes, but he is a really good goalie shooter, and he showed it perfectly when I don't know how he got it into that like puck-sized slot in the middle of the net.
Yeah, that was pretty neat. I think they wanted to try and do like what they do in the intermissions, like the fans shoot from half of center ice and the far side, and I think that's why they tried to do this, but I don't know if we're going to see it next year. The one thing I wanted to say was the speed skating, and you have this as number 2 on your worst. Yep. Why can't they run a full lap? Like, why did they do those stupid heats? The AHL skills competition is done so much better. It was on Sportsnet Sunday night after the All-Star game, the NHL All-Star game, and then the AHL All-Star game was Monday night, and they just did it so much better. Everything just flowed so quickly. The announcers that were calling it on TV were also talking in the arena, so they had to actually make it seem more enjoyable. They weren't just color commentating on TV. Like, they had to keep the fans into it and everything, so they were way more excited.
Sounds cooler.
Yeah, it was so much better. I watched it like live, and it was just a far better skills competition showing. Yeah. And for the NHL to get beat by the AHL, that should not happen.
I think we mentioned this maybe even last year too, right? Wasn't the AHL slightly better last year too? Yeah. So I like watching it because of the skills. And again, I think I mentioned in one of these for my top 5, the game is a little bit slow, the actual game itself, but you can see the skills that some guys do. They're just amazing.
Oh, PK Subban was playing with the puck just everywhere.
Yeah, so it's beauty to watch what these guys can do. So some you got to take the good with the bad too. Yeah. The All-Star game. Yeah, and that's how it goes. All right, Paul, you have a fantasy tip for us?
Yeah, we're going back to the bye week. We talked about looking out for the bye weeks. I'm going to post a chart that shows the rest from February 6th all the way until the end of the year. What teams play, how many games each week for your fantasy week. Beware of Carolina back-to-back 2 games in a week, the 16th and the 17th week of Yahoo Fantasy. But then, come playoff time, the 21, 22, 23, they have 5 games in 2 of those weeks. So I would be targeting Hurricanes guys at the trade deadline, because those 2-game weeks will be long gone, and you'll have those 5 game weeks. You'll see it on the chart, and I'm going to write a blog for Monday. It'll be up on Monday, so if you listen to this Saturday or Sunday, it'll be up on Monday, showing a bunch of teams and who I'd be targeting for the playoffs, and it shows the playoff weeks of what teams are playing how many games. And Devils and Jets, your finals, you want to get rid of your Devils and Jets if you're in a 1-year league. They play 2 games in your finals, so that's not good.
Okay. All right. And time for some Saturday's picks. All right. First off, first game we got, Paul, 1 p.m. It's the Capitals at Montreal. What do you have?
I'm going Montreal.
Yeah?
It's Price versus Holtby, and I'm going to go with Price at home.
Yeah. I'm not sure about this one, but I was thinking about Capitals. I'm just going to go with Capitals then. Going Washington.
Excellent.
Next, we got the Kings at the Flyers. I'm going to go with the Flyers. Just because they're at home.
As will I, and that's the same reason I don't like taking the Kings on the East Coast. It's just something about it. I just don't like it.
Yeah. And then next up, we got the Winnipeg Jets at the Avalanche. I think we're both pretty much picking the Jets here, right?
Yeah, Colorado is a tire fire. They are just a mess.
And the Jets are actually playing better now with Pavlik. No, it's kind of odd. But I don't think Pavlik is stealing any of the games for them. But they're just, for some reason, playing a little bit better right now.
It's that little bit of veteran leadership there.
Yeah. And then we have, this is a tough one, the Maple Leafs at the Bruins. You know what? I think I really have no clue with this one, because the Leafs aren't playing well right now. But they need the points.
They do.
And
they're 3 points behind Boston. This is a big swing for that playoff spot.
this is a big game, and I'm going out on a limb, and I'm probably wrong, and I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm going to pick the Leafs.
I think you have to. I think that shows your homerism, and that's quite all right with this game. Like that, this is a game they need to win to stay in that playoff hunt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with the Bruins. I'm sorry, Peter.
Safe pick.
Yeah.
Yep, safe pick. All right, Senators at Sabres. I'm going to go with Sabres on this. I mean, sorry, Senators. I just don't know how Ottawa is winning a lot of these games, but they are. And Condon is playing pretty good for them, too. He was a great pickup for them. Gonna go with the Senators.
Welcome to Guy Boucher's teams. They just play really sound hockey.
Yep.
I'm going with the Sabres. I'm going with the Sabres.
Oh,
yeah.
Sabres.
Yeah.
All right. Then we have the Ducks and the Lightning. This is an interesting one.
I have Tampa Bay written, but I'm changing it to Anaheim. I'm going to take Anaheim. After talking with Atcha, she talked me out of Tampa being at all good.
I think she did the same thing to me too. We're both picking the Ducks because of Atcha. Thank you, Atcha.
Thank you.
Next up, the Carolina Hurricanes at the Islanders. The Islanders are actually winning a couple games right now.
They are, and they're playing half decent. Their power play looks pretty good. They aren't really scoring a lot, but they look good.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with the Islanders.
I'm going to go with the Hurricanes. Haha, I talked you into the Islanders. Sucker.
Yeah, you tricked me on that one, didn't you?
Yep.
All right. Then we got the Devils and Blue Jackets. Paul, who do you have?
The Blue Jackets, they have not fallen off like we said they were going to. They just keep on winning games.
They're doing all right. We're both picking Blue Jackets. All right. The Penguins versus the Blues. I'm going to go with Penguins. Just because the Penguins are the Penguins. We'll see what happens in their second game.
Mike Yeo was an assistant coach in Pittsburgh. That's where he made his coaching debut, I believe, his NHL coaching assistant coach debut.
So he's going to want that win too.
By Alsma, I think. So he might put something on the wall saying, "Boys, I'll give you $100 or something to win this game for me." But I'm going with the Penguins.
All right, then we have Red Wings at Predators. Going with the Predators. Paul, same?
Yeah, they're way too good of a team right now. Pekka Rinne's playing unreal.
Yep. All right, then we have Blackhawks and Stars. I'm going to go with Hawks.
Yeah, and they definitely need to pick up their game if they want to be contending in the West.
Yep. Then we have the Wild at the Canucks. And the Canucks are hanging in there. They are really hanging in there. But I don't think the Wild have been that great lately. But I'm going to go with the Wild. They're just too strong of a team, especially with Dubnyk between the pipes. If Dubnyk's playing, you can't see them losing.
Agreed, and they are a deep, deep team. A lot of other lines can score goals.
Yep, and then we finish off with the Coyotes and Sharks. I can't see either of us not picking the Sharks.
No, I am going to go with the Sharks, and our all-West side are the exact same picks. So hopefully you've learned your lesson picking the West.
You know what? We're probably going to be wrong in at least one of those games, though. It always happens because the obvious teams lose. They lose games too. So you know what? I think we're going to be wrong in one or two. Maybe even the Canucks. I can see the Canucks maybe winning, or even Stars. You never know. But they look like obvious, easy picks. Those last four games, right? You would think, but you never know. And that's it for this episode. We'll see you next week. New Team ISO. Paul's got some more fantasy up and down, and we're going to do a compare next week. And again, if you haven't, subscribe to us on iTunes, Jablam Hockey. We're out there. And please rate and review us. And, of course, go to jablamhockey.com. Check out our new blogs. My top 10 moments of the All-Star Weekend is up there. And, of course, everything else. Games notes and our old Team ISOs. Check them out. See you next week.
Bye.